This is take 2 of my video. The first one was 20 minutes long and I couldn't do that to you people. This is how I greet my kids every day. They pick one and we greet each other. This is a pan of my room. It is the middle of the school day, so my room is a little disheveled. And that's okay. This is normal. I have my calendar. I have my I can statements. I do abbreviated schedule, just changing out our specials where they need to be switched out. I have a list on the board that I do for the kids when we have an assignment. This is for math in particular, and they know what to do in what order. If they forget, they can always come up here and check. At my presenter, I keep several supplies at my fingertips so that I can always be ready to go. I have crayons, colored pencils, scissors, glue stick. I use my dot cam a lot. I use popsicle sticks to call on kids so that I don't always choose the same student. In my corner, and this is my bulletin board. This bulletin board started off blank. It gets filled and changed often according to what we are studying. I keep organizers up there or graphics that I know the kids will need to have at a moment's notice, especially indent and paragraph structure for third graders. Also the quotation marks, how to use them. Conjunctions, I'll talk about conjunctions in that 3-hole punch yellow sheet here in a minute again. Informational writing, that is an org chart that we made to try to define what's inside of informational writing so that we have a guideline when we start to write. This big magnet is one of my favorite things. It is the best $30 I've spent. Students don't know how to orient a piece of paper, and so we use it often to model how to write and in fact how to indent, as well as how to use the borders of the paper. Interesting skill that you don't think the kids have, but I model it for them with something that looks familiar to them. This is my tote ready to go for the next day. It's organized in order by my subjects, so a sub could come and take over at any time. This is one of my favorite pieces. My bulletin board is simple as it can be. I took a popular song and fit our theme for our school, which is kindness. So we ask the kids certain times when things come up. Somebody will make a comment, positive or negative, and we say, how does this speak hope? How does it speak love? How does it speak life? And how does it speak kindness? And we discuss that in a way to just bring attention to our words make a difference. This window has unfortunately become storage because I can't have students sit in there. The windows are not designed to support weight, and so I had to remove them. However, the pillows, the cushions, those things can come down. This waffle puzzle is trying to get them ready for 4th grade for the standards of dealing with states and capitals. That is a perk they can buy. It's a dojos, which I'll explain here in just a minute. This one is in process and it takes more than one recess period. I have various forms of media. Magazines are almost a lost thing for kids, and so I subscribe to a couple different magazines and then keep the editions here and there. It's a pretty cheap investment for kids who really gain a lot. These are my book reports. They are organized by topic. They are based on the Fontes and Pinnell book review structure, where they include things like characters, setting, title, author, problem, solution, events. They're all based simply on that structure to continue to teach them how to look at a book. My genre wall and some helps for parts of speech. My library is organized for the kids to be able to use things at a fingertips as best as I can, as far as organizing some by author, some by topic, for instance. And then this is my return pile. When the kids finish a story, they put it here, and the books are all organized by a number on the corner, which corresponds, of course, with the bin. And so my daily helper will often come over here and help put that back as part of their job. So that would go back into the bin. I have some flexible seating here, which we use as rewards. They can buy that privilege to have a flexible seat. That table is a constant available source of extra space to work on, especially when I have a para or a high school helper come in. That way we can not disturb the rest of the class and pull off over here. My reading area hasn't been used as much with COVID. I had also found that the kids could see the book better on the presenter. So we actually had a discussion with the students as to whether or not they preferred to be here or just have me present from the front. And they said they can see the pictures better. And so we use that instead. This is used often though for small group gathering. This is another one of my bulletin boards, which remains flexible throughout the year. It becomes a source of information. This one happens to have appropriate voice level, as well as instructions for turn and talk and citing evidence, which is a massive skill for third graders, and we happen to be working on it right now. I can leave it up there at any moment. They can turn around and use that as a reference recall for them. Here's another section of my library, including the old dictionaries, which my kids are fascinated by and use often, even though I've taught them how to use dictionaries.com. They still like that old-fashioned dictionary and will use it on many occasions. My maps are referred to daily, sometimes multiple times during the day. And I have seen kids come back here and sit and look for things as well. These are that was my find at Sam's one day. Love them. The names of punctuation marks are simple for period, question mark, and exclamation. But then once it gets past that, things get a little more complicated. So I want them to use that academic language. So I put them up there for the kids to refer to. These bins are organizational tools so that the kids know where supplies are at any time. The bins that are blank are reserved for a special purpose for later in the year. These are all my read alouds for the year from our Fontes and Pinnell curriculum. They group them for us to be able to find quickly. This is my extra pencil basket, which is currently empty, which means my extra pencils have found homes. This is the mail. When I get done correcting, my daily helper will take this box and they will sort back into the kids' mailboxes. There's my daily helper. I'd rotate through the names every day. Can you see your name? Just a checkpoint for the kids to remember. Oh yeah, I forgot to put my name on my paper. You'd be surprised how many of them still forget. This was a graph we did at the beginning of our school year to get them into the habit of putting things together in a graph form. They had to put their name on and then organize it according to the day of the month, and we refer to that often. My growth mindset bulletin board. The white is the negative statements, the colored are the positive. Sometimes these phrases pop out, and we will use the colored ones to train our brains how to think differently. That is a very handy tool. This chart is one of the best tools I have found from a curriculum we no longer use, and I use it for a lot of my lower kids who struggle with vowel sounds, and it helps them to see at a glance what those teams do and say and how to spell them. I have some helps back here on my board which help us to figure out how we talk in small group, some of the guidelines to follow. They can see them from where they sit because my table actually faces that direction. That is my desk. I do not have a desk. I chose to get rid of it and just have a table. My desk is essentially those top two shelves, which you can see are about as organized as a desk might be. And it functions, it works well. The kids know that there are supplies back here they can come and ask for. And then down here I have my read alouds that I don't share with the kids. These are ones that I might read throughout the year. They don't have access to them, but they do get them. I read to them. My organizational bins, the top three are things like Scholastic, work packets for math. The other ones you can see are day by day, and I put each of the materials in there. The bottom one is for my folders, which I organize by subject. Here's one right here. And then I keep track of whose assignment is turned in. And at a moment's notice, I can see that the assignment from Tuesday was not turned in by a particular student. It sure helps to keep track of information. The organization drawers here mostly are personal, except for this one, which is a big prize drawer. And I will explain the prize drawer here in just a minute. These bins are for organizing upcoming weeks by subject. And if I get papers ready to go, I put them in there, and then they eventually come over here. My All About Me board, it becomes my birthday board for my kids, and then any artwork they'd like to share with me. for a one-to-one computer or iPad. The kids know that they can bring them over here at any time. Of course, it is empty because I have seat stacks on my desks where the kids can store only their electronics. So the iPad and their headphones can be inside of there. This is a binder that I give them when we have resources that I want them to refer to throughout the year. They can come back here. These are conjunctions. I have adjectives. They have their book reading goal, which they keep track of and I keep track of. I have genres. This one is books I would like to read. How to write a book recommendation, some transition words they can use, and whatever. That one happens to be a friendly letter. So that is a resource I give them as I teach. I hand them a resource to put into their folder. Two more things. Lunch rocks. These are my lunch rocks. The kids do attendance and tell me their lunch all at one swoop. They could walk in, they greet me at the door, they grab their lunch rock. They're having school lunch, so they put it here. And I can see anytime who's here and who's not. And then dojos. They get dojos for positive things that go on in the classroom individually or in groups or whole class. And then they save them up. I have a computer program called Dojos that I keep track of it. And then they can spend those points once a month. My desks are spread out as far as I can have them. And however, when we do small group work, we group our desks or we'll sit on the floor. I have a stash of whiteboards that the kids will grab and they can use the whiteboards to work. Small group time also occurs here. I like the individual space for kids, especially my introverts who struggle to have so many people around them. I think they just need their individual space at times. And then of course we do have to be flexible and bring them together. But that is where I hang out 5 days a week.